Okay. Well, looks like we're live.
Okay.
So that's cool.
Looks like we're live.
And I'm still figuring out all of the technical aspects of this, and
I'm still figuring out all of the
get this to be
technical aspects of this, and I'm still figuring out all of the
get this to be
technical aspects of this, and I'm still figuring out all of the technical aspects of this, and I'm still figuring out all of the technical aspects of
okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I think I know where that was coming from. We should be good now. But at least you know that this is actually live. So, yeah, a couple of updates. It is Sunday, February 5th, and this marks 8 weeks. I've been uh, doing self-hypnosis, specifically working on my synkinesis and Bell's palsy. And after that first week, I was able to whistle for the first time in 8 years, back in December, and that was absolutely amazing. Um, I've continued to have improvements since then, and while nothing quite as dramatic, um, I've definitely been noticing differences. I think I'm noticing I look more symmetrical in general. Um, Obviously, like the more I use my mouth and am in front of video monitors, that does seem to have an effect, as well as how much sleep I've had. But generally speaking, yeah, I'm definitely getting more movement back in the mouth. That is the big thing. And typically more symmetrical in general. So it's coming along. The original hope, and this was kind of what my subconscious signaled to me, was that was going to be about 4 months for recovery. And then I checked back in with it a week or two ago, and it updated that where now it's still making progress, but it's saying more like 6 months to start seeing those big changes. So, but yeah, like it's a little bit each day. It's the 1% rule, right? Make 1% each day, and that's going to add up over time as compounding interest takes over, which is great. Um, so the other big news is Frasier is coming back, and I probably should have opened with this, but it's not going to be set in Seattle. And yeah, as you can see from my background, I'm in Frasier's apartment, and yeah, that's why they aren't setting it in Seattle. So if you're hoping for that, sorry, but it's a lot better as my Zoom background. So I got to keep the place. Sorry, Frasier. Um, so that's it. Also, seeing as how it is early February, I'm wondering how many of you are keeping up with your goals, any New Year's resolutions you may have made, um, and if that is going well. If so, great, because a lot of people have given up by this time. January 17th is like National Give Up on Your New Year's Resolutions Day. And typically by mid February, usually February 17th and 14th, but anywhere between now and then, people really start dropping off on their goals. And that's something I've been thinking about, especially with, my goal is to use hypnosis to restore my face and to help others with my Beyond Bell's Palsy group, which you can join at lifeisjustbeginning.com/beyond BP. Doing weekly group sessions there to help people in the same boat and eliminate a lot of the anxiety and stress that comes with synkinesis and Bell's palsy. But I'm definitely not giving up on my goal of that, especially with the improvements I've already seen. Now that I know it's possible. And I mean, a lot of times that's all that it takes is just seeing that one thing. And that's something that when it comes to goal setting, that is really important. And I think why a lot of us will fall off on things is because we'll make these plans, these goals, and we'll come at it from like, okay, is this realistic? Is this but just with New Year's resolutions, it's, I'm going to do this New Year, arbitrary day. I'm going to start doing blah, blah, blah every single day. And then we fall off. And that's because, people burn out of willpower, or life gets in the way, or just, it's winter. It's like a terrible time of year. It's cold, it's wet, it's snowy. It's not pleasant to go outside or really do anything. The sun still isn't around. So we're not getting that sort of natural energy from it. So it's easy to still want to be in hibernation mode this time of year. But I think when it comes to a lot of New Year's resolutions and goal setting in general that people don't follow through on, is because they're not asking themselves one very important question in regards to their goals. Does it make me feel good? And yeah, we need to ask ourselves that, and we need to keep checking in with that every day. Does this make me feel good? Am I excited for this goal? Because if we're not, why are we going to keep doing it? The subconscious is not going to want to cooperate with us. It's going to go, hey, no, my job is to protect you and to help you feel pleasure. This does not. This goal causes pain. You don't enjoy this. And I don't mean physical pain. It could be emotional pain, any sort of conflict, because our subconscious mind wants us to feel good. And that will keep us trapped in patterns that don't serve us anymore. But at some point, it was perceived to have some kind of benefit to it. And so with our goals, we need to be excited for it. It needs to be something that, like, yeah, this gets my motor running. This feels good. And it's not something that feels heavy to us. It shouldn't feel like work. Even if a lot of work has to go into reaching our goal, it shouldn't feel like work. It should feel good. It should be something that excites us, that motivates us, that gets us moving towards it. And even if that is a lot of work, because especially if we're working on bigger goals, and that is really one of the first steps that we have to take is, does this make me feel good? And we have to sit with that and meditate on it, look at it, and just really think about it. So in the past, I've never been a big fan of like writing out my goals, but it really helps with this. So now what I like to do is I'll write down what I want, and I'm putting together a whole goal setting workshop that's going to go a lot more in depth in this, but to give you an idea of what I'm going to be talking about in that is we write our goals down, and there's a specific way to write them. That's going to be part of the workshop. But we take time every day and read that. Sit there, look at what we've written down. And you can type it on your phone. I like actually physically writing things out. That somehow just it makes it click more with the subconscious when I bring that physical action to it, because we're taking a thought, we're taking an idea, that goal, that's the idea, something that we can picture. Oh yeah, life is going to be like this. I want this. I'm going to be this. And we have it. It's here. And we're bringing it into the physical world by achieving our goal. It goes from being a thought to something that's real, to something that we experience. So I'm just checking in on the chat. And oh, hey. Thank you, Facebook user. Can't see who you are right now, but thanks for chiming in. I have that window, so I'll be able to take a more look at that. So yeah, love the comments, love the likes, keep them coming. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. And anyway, back to what I was saying with the goal. We're bringing it into the physical world. So in order to do that, like that, writing it down, physically writing it down for me is the start of that, versus like if I just type it on the notes app on my phone. And I mean, if something pops into my head, yeah, I'm going to use the notes app. That's great. I'll use something like Trello to organize goals if it's like a more complex kind of thing. But I still always will handwrite it out as part of that, getting my subconscious attuned to this is becoming something in the physical world. And that is really important. But then once it's down every day, I'll take a look at it and I'll just sit with it for a minute. And this is a lot of, with releasing, is noticing how our goals make us feel, how it makes us feel in our body. Does it make us feel heavy? Does it make us feel light? Does it feel good? Does it feel bad? Is it sharp? Where are we feeling it? And so cultivating that relationship of just like noticing how our feelings, our emotions make us feel in our body is something that really helps in general with things. And so then when it comes to meditating on our goals, we can notice how that makes us feel. And if it's something that makes us feel heavy, that's kind of bringing up that sense of dread, any of those sort of heavier emotions, then we know, all right, this is happening. So something needs adjusted here, because again, we should feel good about our goals. We should be excited for them. We should feel light. And we need to be honest about that. And like really honest with ourselves, and not just tell ourselves that we're excited for something when we're not. So one of my goals is to lose more weight again this year. And I'll be honest, I am not excited I'm excited for the results, but I'm not excited for everything that goes into that, especially when the weather's bad. If it's cold and like, okay, now yeah, it's a rainy day, so my joints are all creaky, and that makes me not want to, exercise. Um, but I can get excited for the results, and that's sort of the difference. So then I look for what's something I can do that gets me excited, even if it's 1%, to move in that direction that can keep me excited about the goal. And that could be just going for a walk. It might not be ideal, but it's something that I can feel excited about. It's something that I can feel good about, and it is related to the goal, even if it's 1%. Because again, we're building consistency with it, and that consistency comes over time. But we're only going to be consistent if we're excited. So having that excitement is good. Now, with goals that are things that we really, really want, that is also something that we have to watch out for. When we really want something, and uh, when we're really excited, we'll be in that energy of lust, of wanting, and that will keep us from going to courage. Whereas where we're really making things happen, and it can move us down into the heavier ones of like apathy, grief, and fear. Um, so we need to learn to let go of our goals as well, let go of the attachment to the goal. So it just becomes something that we're automatically doing. We're not thinking about it. We're not worrying about it. And we know that we're going to achieve it. So um and it goes back to like, it's funny because I'm working on this goal setting project, and this workshop that I think you all will really enjoy. And a lot of great information in there, and it really ties into a lot of other stuff that's coming down the pipeline on releasing and things, and self-hypnosis training I'm going to be offering, all of that. And I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for this workshop, and as well as all the other things that are most overwhelming that I have going on right now. And but I can feel all of this really good energy just building up, and I'm like, okay, how do I do this? Where do I start? What's going to be that thing that when I pull it, the dam's going to break, and there's going to be this huge wave, and I'm just going to be riding it in that flow state and being ready for it. And I really want that to happen. So it's like I keep forcing myself because I want that. I want to get that flow state so bad. I want to get that energy so bad for all of these projects that I'm working on, and that the excitement is there for, and the want is there. So just to pull up what I'm talking about, that we have uh the chart here. So it goes from heavy at the bottom as we get to the top. um those are the lightest feelings, and we're constantly cycling through this chart. um and all of these have a purpose. None of them are good and bad, and we want to cultivate a good relationship with all of these, everything on this scale. And but that lust, wanting, it's easy to get stuck there, where it's like, yeah, I want this so bad, and I can tell it's coming. But and then because we want it so bad, and we're pushing instead of allowing it to come to us, then what tends to happen is, oh, we'll drop down into fear. Is this ever going to come? Am I ever going to get through this? What if I don't get through? What if I don't do this? And then we get sad. And then those goals can start to feel heavy, and we can start to lose that excitement, and then we have to drop down to apathy, and that's our body kind of telling us to stop and gather itself up, and then we can start moving back up the chart again. And but again, it gets heavier. So when we're in that lust, that want, it's a charge, and it's a pushing. So lust, anger, and pride are outward pushing kind of energies, where it's like we're doing something, we're putting force behind it. And then when we get into courage, acceptance, love, and peace, there's higher ones, but like especially once we get into courage, it's a lot lighter, and it's not pushing. It's more of an open, welcoming thing. We're still taking action, we're still moving towards it, but it's in that easy way where it doesn't feel like work. It's just something we do. We've just embodied being the thing, being the goal at that point. But we have to notice those, sit with them, and we have to be comfortable with them. So it's like, yeah, I want this really bad. And I'm like, I was talking to a friend of mine about this yesterday. I said something like, yeah, I got to take my own advice on this, and I'm gonna have to sit with it and release on that, because I have an attachment to that goal. I have an attachment to wanting to get these projects done, to get this workshop out there, to be able to teach you guys the workshops, because I love doing that. And it's super fun. And I think everybody that takes it will really enjoy it. And but because I want that so bad, I'm like, okay, I need to let go of that. And because it ends up being something that holds us back, that pulls us down, instead of something that can move us forwards. And that's what releasing is being comfortable with it, and letting go of our attachments to the thing, of our attachments to wanting to feel a certain way. And that's something like, when we get up into courage, acceptance, love, and peace, into that area in our lives, and we'll feel really good. We'll be in that flow state. And again, like I said, we always cycle through these, but we can start to drop back down that chart, because it feels really good up there, right? When we're in that space, yeah, this is awesome. And I want to keep this going. I want to keep this momentum going. And then, but we only have so much energy, and we have to recharge, and we're always going to be cycling through those. And when that starts to slow down, we start to kind of come out of that state. We get scared, and we don't, no, I want this because it feels good. So then we're dropping down the scale, and we're trying to hang on to the idea of courage so badly that it hanging on to that drags us down into fear, drags us down to grief, drags us down to apathy. Whereas if we let go of that and know, yeah, hey, I experience this all the time. This is what I'm doing. And you know what? There's some days I'm not going to feel this way. Other days I am. And it's okay. And we let go of that. Then we start to move the baseline up by doing that on a regular basis. And we have to do that with our goals too. We have to do that with whatever we are doing. So it's like, yeah, I want this so bad, but I need to let go of that, because the idea with everything, with goals, with any of these emotions that we experience, is being okay with ourselves, who we are, where we're at, whether we achieve the goals or not. And that's not in an apathetic way, but it's like if it's loving ourselves exactly as we are, where we're at. And of course, we're always growing, we're always moving, and that's a direction that we want to go in. And that's why we set goals to move towards that. But can we be in a place where if nothing were to change, if everything was to stay vacuum sealed exactly as it was today, could we love ourselves just the same as if we achieved the goals, if we were in that place in the future? And once we can do that, then we can do anything, because we can let go of the attachment, and that's what allows us to flow. And it's interesting. Like, I always think back to when I was in college, and me and a buddy of mine did a comic book. And it was not a good comic book. I love the characters, but it wasn't good. But it was something that, like, yeah, this is something I want to do. And I didn't think about it. I didn't put this, oh, how do I do this? It was just, I'm doing this. I'm putting this out there. And I didn't go the Kinko's route as back in the 90s, where, mini comics were the trend. I guess we did do that with a couple issues, but I wanted an actual printed comic book, same size as everything that you would see. I wanted to see it on a shelf in a comic book store. And that I didn't just want like copy paper folded and stapled together. I wanted an actual printed comic book, and that was what it was going to be. And I didn't think of any of the reasons why that was stupid. I didn't think about, oh yeah, this is going to cost money, or like whatever. I'm like, it was all going to cost money anyway to print it. I mean, nobody was doing this to make money. It was a labor of love. And that was just, yep, I'm just doing this. And I wasn't worried about it. It was just going to be what it was. And not having a clue of what I was doing. And, and even now, I think I'm like, no, it's incredibly embarrassing. Comic, it was not good. I was young, but we did it, and it was out there, and that was awesome. And the crazy thing was, we made either a profit or broke even on every issue but one. And that kind of kept the thing going. And so it was like, okay, yeah, great. Made enough from this to print the next one. And it wasn't until like after we'd finished doing it that I stopped and look, I'm like, wow, that was actually like technically a huge success, because who did that? And I'm like, yeah, most of the time, like if you did a mini comic, you did something, you were losing money on it. It was just something that you did for the love of it. And that's what we were doing. But I wasn't thinking about any of that. I'm just like, I'm doing this. So I didn't have any attachment to anything either way. It just was. So I was able to exist in that flow state, and then just do it, for as cringy as it was. But it was done. And now I look back on that and I'm like, yeah, that's actually pretty inspiring to me. Because I remember what that feeling was like, of just, yeah, this is what I'm doing. And you know what? Yeah, it would have been absolutely great if somebody saw it and a publisher picked it up, or it got, optioned off for a movie somehow. I don't know, but and then started making money, but that wasn't why I was doing it. and I was doing it to for the sake of creation and for the sake of fun, and in some way, this is going to the next thing. I felt like I was putting value into the world by making it. I couldn't tell you what that was now. Yeah, I was hoping to entertain people, but there's a value to it, and that is another important part when it comes to goal setting. We want to feel good about our goals. We want to be excited about them, but then it also shouldn't be a purely selfish thing. We should also think about how we want, what kind of value it provides in the world to others. Um, what benefit does it give people? Because obviously we get a lot of things from achieving our goals, but are we providing value to others by achieving that too? So it's not completely selfish, and that's something that can help us feel better about our goals and helps us achieve it, because we want to get the emotional part of our subconscious mind on board moving forward with these things, and it wants us to feel good. And if we feel good, we're like, yeah, hey, I'm providing value to people for this, and this is why I'm doing it. It's gonna go, oh, okay, yeah, and that feels good. It feels good to help people. It feels good to do something for somebody, in whatever capacity that is. And when it feels good to us, we train our mind. It's going to go seek more of that. So that's why all of those are very important when it comes to goal setting. And yeah, man, now I am really inspired to go work on that some more. So, and not from a place of wanting, just from a place of this is fun. And yeah, and it I think it provides value for anybody that stumbles across this video. Um, so that is, I think, all for the Sunday service today. Thanks everybody for watching, and yeah, now I get to figure out how to stop the live stream. So thanks everybody.